Kansas City Nights, the podcast, backstage edition at the Uptown Theater with Sebastian James, Mr. Old Cool School, right? Old school cool. Old cool school.
Shake them out.
Right.
All right, we're good.
Kansas City Nights, the podcast, backstage at the Uptown Theater with Sebastian James of, Mr. Old School Cool. And just first off, congratulations on your success right now.
Thank you, man. It's been a ride.
Yeah. Let's talk about. I love your new CD. I like the title track. Old School
it's
Cool,
a rocker, huh?
And White Trash. For some reason,
yeah, man, that's my song.
Speak to me.
Yeah,
directly.
I wonder why. It's autobiographical.
Yes,
right?
yeah, exactly. What went into the whole production of that and the songs and
Man,
such?
so it was something I always wanted to do, right? I always wanted to put out an original record. I just felt like, there's kind of a demand for it right now. Things are kind of up in the air as far as what's cool, what's not, what's the future of rock and roll. And so to me, I had just started to kind of look back at this vault of songs really that I've been writing over 5, 6, 7 years, and started to realize, hey, I've got most of a record here last year. And so I got together with Chad Borkran, who wrote most of the record with me on guitar, and then our partner Ryan Wager, who we formed the label with. So we formed Tungsten Records.
Tungsten Records,
Yep.
right.
And that was kind of the platform for everything else to come, right?
Oh, okay.
'Cause at the end of the day, it's a business. And so we were looking at it of, okay, if these songs do end up all right, how are we going to push them? How's that going to work logistically, legally, so forth? So, we formed the label, and that kind of kicked everything off.
Right. That is awesome. Talk to me. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. Let me just grab my notes here. So, you've been in the business. You're just a little younger than my daughter.
Okay.
And but you've been. You were a drummer for Nigel Dupree band.
Yep. Indeed.
You've been in the business for a while.
Let's not forget Poison Overdose.
Oh, hey!
Always got to put me on the spot.
Or Rock Gods, for crying out loud. But we'll get to that.
Gosh, I just turned 32. Don't tell anybody. Turned 32 last month and had been playing, I guess, more of my life than I haven't. Started as a drummer at 11, 12. By the time I was 13, we were playing in the clubs local to Kansas City, playing at places like the Roxy, which I think is probably where I met Mr. Brian Rice. And so we did that for pretty much for forever. And I graduated high school and jumped in with Nigel Dupree. That was when I was about 18 years old. So graduated, hit the road. And
I am curious to know, what is it? How did you come to just like this era of music? Because you're about 2 generations behind us, and yet this is what resonates with you and Trevor and Kyle. Your buddies are the same age range.
All the guys.
Like, how did that happen? Was it just your upbringing with your dad, but all of your friends, not just you?
Yeah, it was a trip, really. So we would have been, when Kyle and I met, it was like 6th, 7th grade. Trevor was a year behind us. All went to the same school district, all through Park Hill Schools here in Kansas City. And when I met them, they were already listening to classic rock. Kyle's dad was into the same stuff that my dad was, whether it was Rat, Lynch Mob, all the ripping guitar player bands, Van Halen, obviously. And so it was just kind of that weird thing where the stars aligned, and it was like, wow, we need to do something together. And so I was trying to figure out if I wanted to sing, if I wanted to drum. And then we just kind of went with the flow, and we started Semino when we were 14 or 15. We would have already been playing with my dad and the Ponies at that time.
Baloney Ponies.
Yeah,
Yes.
still hanging on, going strong. So we did that. I did Poison Overdose. That was when I was 16, 17. And then, right up to 18 is when I started playing with Nigel. And then from there on, we did everything. We did Disco Dick. We did the Rock Gods. We're doing the Sebastian James project now. As long as it's rock and roll and making music, it's usually a good time.
It is. And it's successful. So you've got 2 songs on the top 100 right now. Is that correct?
Yep, they're still hanging.
So you got When We're Young at number 23.
That's the big one.
That is a big one. And then American Made, which is a great song as well, at
Yeah.
number 39.
Yep.
And how do you know? I mean, do they notify you when you break the top 100, or how do you?
Oh, I was
find
tracking
that out?
it. I was tracking
Okay,
it all
all
the
right.
time. So we had a radio promoter out in L.A. that had been around forever. His name was Howie Rosen, and he was a big marketing guy back at Casablanca with Kiss, and he went on to Warner Brothers with people like Van Halen and Van Halen and Prince, rather. And so we teamed up with him. He had heard When We Were Young, he'd heard When We Were Young and American Made. He's like, these are hits. We
Yeah.
got to go for radio. He wanted to go to the Billboard market for adult contemporary for When We Were Young. And so the target was that we were going to get there hopefully in the top 40 or top 50. And so when it got to 23, we all started to get really excited because at that point, okay, this is a good song. You'll see bands on there for a week or two, but I think it was 8 or 9 weeks. And it just continued to climb and climb and climb. And by the end, I was pinched in between like Taylor Swift and Jelly Roll for the last 4 or 5 weeks, which was such a trip.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah. So I'm
Right.
like, I want to get that in the screenshot, right? It's me right above Taylor for once in my
Sure,
life.
right. Well, I mean, congratulations on all that success. You're no stranger to the big stage, obviously. Just talk about being here at the Uptown Theater and playing in front of it. It's going to be a packed house tonight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sold out.
Sure.
What's funny about the Uptown is, as a kid, I'd seen my dad play here. I can't remember who it was with, if they were opening for Warrant, or I can't remember what exact show. So I always remember being here at probably 6, 7 years old. And then Kyle and I started to play here when we were about 14, like doing Battle of the Bands things, and we went on to do Red, White, and Boom. I think that started from a Battle of the Bands here, which would have been like 08, 09. So the Uptown is really kind of home base for us. We did a date with Daughtry back in 18, and I think that was the last time I've been here. So it's been a minute, really. But yeah, beautiful venue.
Right. A lot of history with this place. And now, having been the drummer for Nigel Dupree, I'm sure that, as far as you and Jesse, James Dupree, you're all kind of family at this point.
I love those guys. Nigel was my buddy, still is my buddy, my best friend. He was usually, he was about 5 years older than me, I want to say. And he really showed me the ropes. So as a kid at that time, I was 18, he's probably 22, 23, but he had been immersed in it from day one. That's all he knew. From the day that he was born, essentially, or when he was 2 or 3, Jackyl had broke, and he was a road dog, from the ground up. And so meeting him, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be.
Sure.
How do you do this? How do you do that? And he was, one of the smartest people I've met. When really considering all like the industry knowledge and stuff like that he's acquired.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you both have musical fathers.
Yeah,
and
we do.
That's it. That's where it starts then.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. I remember when I was touring with him the first year, it would have been 2012 or so. And so we had a date or a string of dates around Father's Day. And so I remember watching Nigel and Jesse on Father's Day being like, man, I miss my dad. I wish we were doing that. And here tonight, it's really funny because my dad's playing bass in my band.
That's great.
Jesse's here, Nigel's here. So it's really a family reunion.
It is a family reunion.
Somehow old Cousin Eddie got the invite.
Right around during the holidays as well.
Yeah,
now,
yes, indeed.
You graduated from Park Hill.
Yep.
Did Kyle graduate with you as well? Did you go to Park Hill?
Yep. Kyle and I were class of 2011, Park Hill South. Trevor would have been class of 2012. And pretty much born and raised, I think, all the way through from kindergarten through high school. I was in the Park Hill system, moved right across the street for college, went to Park University, graduated from there in 18. I've got an MBA, so a Master's of Business and Administration with a minor of rock and roll.
There you go. I mean, you've got to be real proud of that.
That's honestly, it's probably, obviously the best thing I ever did, besides meeting my wife and having kids and all that. But financially, it was the best thing I've ever did. I still, to this day, work for architecture firms. So that was, they let me keep it, I went enough work. But No, it was the single greatest thing I ever did, and it only enhanced the music side, you know,
Right.
and like we were talking about Tungsten Records. So
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
just a musician alone, you know, you don't always approach that with the business mindset. But me and the other two guys, also super business savvy gentlemen, you know, went in it from day one, you know, using that same knowledge that we'd acquired in school and
Was
running
that
other businesses.
plan all along was to get a college degree?
I mean, I didn't want to get one. I was, let's see, when I was playing with Nigel, I was pretty confident that we were going to, you know, get where we were going. And we accomplished a lot, to be honest. And during that time, I was still going to school, though. So I'd be in the back of the van submitting my discussion
my
boards and turning
goodness.
in these papers. And,
Wow. Yeah.
And it took me about a year longer, you know, than it should have to graduate. But I kind of was taking probably 8, 10, 11 hours sometimes at college during the heavy traveling years. And then I'd make up for it later. But it was, you know, tough. It was a lot. It was kind of everything all at once. But looking back, it was the move.
No pain, no gain. I mean, for any youngsters that may be watching this podcast going forward, I mean, yeah, it's
Do it all.
commitment and education is a big thing, and it's really applicable in every part.
Indeed. Yeah, you'll always find a way to use it. That's what I tell the kids. I tell my own kids. I tell my friends' kids, you know, you can still be a rock star or whatever you want to be that doesn't require a degree and to get a degree.
How many children get what people are saying so it can pick up on that?
Okay, how many children?
So I've got 3 kids.
Oh, how many kids do you have? That's what he's going to ask. Okay.
Yeah, I've got 3. So our oldest is 10. My daughter's my middle child. She's 6, and then our youngest just turned 3. So
Great.
hands are full. I think 3 is a great number. So
Yeah.
So I think we're going to stay there.
And do they have the musical talent? The
I think so.
genes? Yeah.
My son, when he was probably 4, I had pretty much got him taken care of behind the kit. So he was able to hold a beat.
Okay.
Hasn't played as much as of late, but he's really musically inclined. You know, I can tell it. It speaks to him at like an emotional level like it did to me. He's always listening to music, whether it's Van Halen or Shinedown or Eminem or the same
great.
stuff I was
Sure.
listening to,
Yeah.
right? So he loves music, and then my daughter as well. She's in piano, she's in dance, she can sing. You know, like I didn't realize I could sing until I was probably 20, but she realized from day one, and we all did. We're like, wow, she sings really
that
well,
too,
yeah.
yeah, right.
And then Marshall, you know, he's like little Bam Bam. He just turns around and hits stuff. So he'll probably be a drummer too.
Sure, that's great. Now, was your dad a drummer then? at
My
all?
dad, he actually had a drum kit first.
Okay.
That was one thing that he had, and his father, my grandpa, who's just turned 82 this week.
Oh, great.
He was a drummer too,
So there
back
you
in
go.
in the jazz scene when he was going to college. So we started as drummers and kind of all gravitated. My dad's, you know, singer first, probably guitar second, drums third.
He's everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Everything in a mirror ball, all in
That's
one.
for sure.
And
Couple of 'em.
Your grandpa was Kansas City based as well.
Yep.
I mean, okay.
Yep.
So I mean, that's history. That's family lineage here in Kansas City in the
We've
music
been
scene.
here forever. Yeah,
Right.
my grandpa just retired actually last year from dentistry. Ran a practice
Mm-hmm.
for 50 plus years and just stepped away. It was over in Gladstone,
Wow.
and so he's enjoying
Just
life.
retired last year.
Yeah,
you
last
just
year.
said? At
At 81, didn't want to quit, man, and he hadn't
My
lost a step.
goodness. Wow, that's great. That's great. They got to be real proud of you and what you got going on and
Indeed.
your
Yeah, they-
successes. Let's just talk about now. Let's talk about Rock Gods.
Yeah.
You know, when you're working with Johnny Rampage all the time, that's
Right.
got to be a mess. I don't know.
He's a legend. That's what
He is a legend.
I
You got
tell
that right.
everybody. I was like, Johnny is the greatest singer in the band,
Oh, man,
hands
he's-
down.
gosh,
Johnny runs
right.
circles around
He
all
is-
of us.
he
I
is
just
amazing.
I just love watching and learning.
Do a quick sum up on what Rock Gods is as opposed to.
Well, I mean, Rock Gods is a montage of you got Johnny Rampage doing Kiss.
Yep.
You've got Motley Crue. Who does the Motley Crue?
I do Motley.
You do the Motley Crue.
My dad does Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, Def Leppard, and then I rounded out with Van Halen, Poison, a little bit of Bon Jovi, And then Johnny's kind of been bouncing around from Kiss to Aerosmith, AC/DC,
Right,
and
yeah,
Alice Cooper.
AC/DC.
Oh, he's an incredible Alice Cooper.
I didn't know he did Alice
yeah,
Cooper.
and when my kids see him, my oldest
Okay.
son, he's like, "Oh my God, Johnny looks just like Alice Cooper."
We need to talk to Johnny Rampage at
Yep.
some point. But you guys are, I mean, Rock Gods is more a regional act.
Yeah, we're all over. We
tri-state, quad-state, whatever.
everywhere. We
Everywhere.
did last year. We did Myrtle Beach. We did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Oh, hey,
which
wow, that's great.
Was killer.
Wow.
We've gone just about everywhere with that group, and then 2025 looks like even more of a level
Okay.
up. So
Into upcoming gigs, New Year's for you.
yeah, New Year's Eve, Kansas City.
At the Voodoo.
Yeah.
At a nearby venue.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
yeah, okay.
Whose name we
Fair
do
enough.
not speak.
Right.
Uptown.
Harris.
That's it. And so you got Rock Gods. What about the Sebastian James project? What's up for in 2025 for that?
Looking at a lot of live touring options. Of course,
Great.
everything today, there's a lot of pay to play, which as a business guy, it's tough, but I get it. I get the marketing and promo value. So there are a lot of those offers out there. And then, we're really starting organic. So what can we get within reach now, between myself and Chad, our agent? What can we do that we're already doing? Fairs, festivals, casinos. So ideally, that would kind of take the cake as, the priority. And then we sprinkle Rock Gods in around it
Yeah.
and kind of build it from there, see what happens.
Well, it's already being built, man. You got 2 songs on the top 100. You're charting. 2025 is going to be a big thing.
Yeah,
for you.
I think so.
It's going to be a big
Fingers
thing.
crossed.
Very excited about that. Also, just as far as music, original music
Yeah.
coming out of Kansas City, you're leading the way right now for that. And with World Cup coming up, big
Yeah.
things are ahead.
Yep.
And so that's got to be exciting.
It is, and Kansas City has always held a special place in my heart, and it's super exciting to see us, be on the map. So it's no longer just some small town routing date. You got to think we've been here long before the Travis Kelce's and Taylor Swift. So the kids now see it as this huge. Oh, it's a Nashville, or it's this, or it's that. Which it always wasn't. But I'm glad to see today that it's finally getting, the attention that it gets. It's a great city, great people.
Exactly.
Great, combination of all walks of life. So
Yeah, right.
Proud to be
and
from here.
music. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
We're so lucky to be here, and so lucky that you took the time to sit down with us
Yeah.
before a show. What one last thing here before a gig? How you prepare yourself now for an hour and a half set?
Man, well, we got to start with a little bit of old Jesse's bourbon.
Okay,
Little vocal warm up.
Yes.
No, I'm getting better at actually warming up. Treating my vocal cords the correct way. So I'm going to go do a warm up, get into costume. We carry a little electric bike around in the trailer, so do a little bit of a warm up there.
Oh, okay.
You never realize how handy that is because you fly out on stage. Stone cold, and stuff starts cramping up, or you're
right.
tight,
No,
you're not loose, so
seen
you
that.
get the blood pumping, and
As you get older.
yep, yes indeed, I
Yeah.
hear that.
And then you got any electrolytes you drink or anything that you do drink?
I think that bourbon's got a lot of electrolytes.
And let's see here. What is the name of
No,
that?
nothing too
bourbon?
particular.
American Outlaw.
Yes,
bourbon
indeed.
whiskey,
You look
by
at
the
you.
way,
You did your homework.
for Jesse James Dupree.
Yeah,
And
it's solid. It's solid. He's got all kinds of variations of it, and a couple other products out, which I'd highly recommend. They do what they're supposed to do.
we are whiskey. Well, he's the whiskey connoisseur. I
Yes.
just like to drink it and get loaded.
I love it.
So,
Hey, that's
you know.
why I drink it.
Anything you want to add there, Brian Rice? Hey, thank you again so much.
You as well, man.
Congratulations on your success so far.
Yes, indeed.
And the big things to come. Really
Appreciate
excited.
you guys. Yep.
Really
Looking
excited
forward
for
to chatting with you next year.
Okay, you got
All right,
it. Hey,
take care.
You heard it. Well, next year we'll be talking with them. Kansas City Nights
Nights.
podcast.
See ya.